What if I told you there's a pickup engine so reliable that one owner just crossed 1.3 million miles on the original motor? No rebuild, no major repairs, just oil changes and basic maintenance. While most truck buyers obsess over horsepower and towing capacity, smart owners know the real question: which engine will still be running when your grandkids are learning to drive? Picture yourself 15 years from now, watching your neighbor's fancy turbo truck getting towed to the shop for the third time this year while your boring, naturally aspirated V8 fires up every single morning without fail. In this video, I'm revealing 7 pickup truck engines that routinely cross 500,000 miles, with documented cases hitting the million-mile mark. And trust me, number 1 isn't the engine everyone thinks it is. It's actually been hiding in plain sight for over 2 decades. Stay until the end because this isn't just about trucks. It's your guide to buying an engine once and driving it forever. At number 7, we have Ford's 4.6-liter modular V8. Now, this engine doesn't get the respect it deserves because everyone's obsessed with the bigger 5.4-liter or the EcoBoost turbos. But here's what the fleet managers know that weekend warriors don't. This understressed V8 is practically indestructible when maintained properly. The 4.6-liter powered millions of Crown Victorias that served as taxis and police cruisers, regularly hitting 400,000 miles of brutal stop-and-go abuse. But that's just the beginning. In F-150s from 1997 to 2010, this engine developed a reputation for something remarkable. It simply refused to die. The secret? Ford overbuilt it. With lower compression ratios and modest power output, the internal components never work hard enough to wear out. One fleet manager from a utility company in Texas told me, "We've got 2008 F-150s with the 4.6 that have over 650,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. We just change the oil every 5,000 miles and they keep going." The only real weakness? The spark plugs on certain model years. The 3-valve versions from 2004 to 2008 had plugs that would sometimes break during removal. But here's the kicker. Even with that annoying issue, these engines routinely outlast the trucks they're mounted in. When you can buy a used F-150 with this engine for under $10,000 and potentially drive it another 200,000 miles, that's financial security most truck buyers completely overlook. Coming in at number 6 is Chevy's 6-liter Vortec V8. Specifically the L96 and LQ4 variants. While everyone's chasing the aluminum block 5.3-liter for better fuel economy, the iron block 6.0-liter is quietly racking up million-mile success stories in work trucks across America. This engine represents old-school over-engineering at its finest. The cast iron block is virtually bulletproof, handling extreme heat cycles and heavy loads without the head gasket issues that plague some aluminum engines. Fleet data from 2010 to 2020. Silverado 2500 HDS shows these engines averaging over 350,000 miles before any major repairs, with many crossing 500,000 miles on original internals. But here's where it gets interesting. A landscape company owner in Colorado documented his 2011 Silverado 2500 HD reaching 1.1 million miles on the original 6-liter engine. His secret? Nothing special, just synthetic oil changes every 7,500 miles and replacing the water pump at 400,000 miles as preventive maintenance. The 6-liter does drink fuel compared to modern turbocharged engines, averaging just 13 to 15 miles per gallon in mixed driving. But think about that for a moment. Would you rather save $3,000 a year on fuel or spend $10,000 on a new engine at 200,000 miles? The math favors longevity over efficiency, especially when gas prices fluctuate but engine replacement costs only go up. At number 5, we have Toyota's 4.7-liter 2 UZ-F EV8, the engine that powered Tundras and Land Cruisers to legendary status. This isn't just reliable, it's overbuilt to an almost absurd degree. Toyota engineers designed this V8 with forged internals typically reserved for high-performance engines, then detuned it for longevity. The numbers speak for themselves. A 2006 Tundra recently made headlines for crossing 1 million miles on the original engine with just routine maintenance. But that's not even unusual for this motor. Mechanics regularly see these engines at 400,000 to 500,000 miles, still running like they're barely broken in, with compression numbers close to factory specifications. The 2 UZ-FE features an iron block with 6-bolt main bearings, the same design philosophy used in diesel engines. The timing belt, often a wear item on other engines, routinely lasts 150,000 plus miles. And unlike modern turbocharged engines with complex variable valve timing systems, the 2UZFE uses simple, proven technology that any mechanic can service. One Toyota master technician put it perfectly. In 15 years working on these, I've never had to rebuild a 2UZFE that was properly maintained. They either get totaled in accidents or the frame rusts out first. The only downside? Finding one. Toyota discontinued this engine in 2011, and owners who have them aren't selling. When a 15-year-old truck commands premium prices because of its engine reputation, you know you're looking at something special. If you're finding this information valuable for your next truck purchase, consider subscribing to stay updated on reliability analysis like this. We dig through the data so you don't have to learn these lessons at $5,000 a pop. And speaking of expensive lessons, wait until you see what's coming at number 1. It's an engine most people write off as agricultural, but the data tells a completely different story. Number 4 brings us to the legendary Ford 7.3-liter Power-Stroke diesel. Yes, it's loud. Yes, it's slow by modern standards. But this international-built diesel from 1994 to 2003 has achieved something remarkable: cult status, based purely on refusing to die. While modern diesels struggle with emissions equipment failures, DEF systems, and complex high-pressure injection pumps that cost $7,000 to replace, the 7.3-liter Power-Stroke predates all that complexity. It uses a simple mechanical injection system that any diesel mechanic can diagnose with basic tools. No computer required. The million-mile club for this engine isn't exclusive. It's surprisingly common. One hotshot driver in Wyoming documented 1.4 million miles on his 2001 F350 with the original 7.3-liter, averaging 18 miles per gallon while towing daily. But here's the financial kicker. A well-maintained 7.3-liter Power-Stroke truck from 2002 often sells for more than a 2012 model with the 6.7-liter. That's a 10-year-older truck commanding higher prices because buyers know the engine will outlast virtually anything else on the road. The weak points? The cam position sensor occasionally fails, a $30 part that takes a few minutes to replace. The valve cover gaskets leak after 200,000 miles. That's it. In an era where modern diesels require $5,000 emission system repairs, the 7.3-liter simplicity isn't just refreshing, it's financially liberating. At number 3, the GM 5.3-liter Vortec 5.8 from 1999 to 2007 proves that mass production doesn't mean compromising durability. This engine powered millions of Silverados, Sierras, Tahoes, and Suburbans, becoming GM's most successful V8 ever for good reason. The genius of the 5.3-liter lies in its simplicity. The Gen 3 version avoided the complexity that would plague later models. No cylinder deactivation to fail, no direct injection to carbon up. Just port fuel injection, a simple cam profile, and bulletproof bottom-end construction that shrugs off neglect. Fleet data shows these engines averaging 350,000 miles between rebuilds, with many reaching 500,000 miles on original internals. One plumbing company in Phoenix has a 2004 Silverado with 873,000 miles on the original 5.3-liter, still used daily for service calls. The only major repair? A water pump at 400,000 miles. The notorious issues? They consume oil after 200,000 miles, about a quart every 2,000 miles. The knock sensors fail and throw codes. The intake gaskets eventually leak. But here's perspective. These are $500 repairs on an engine that might run another 300,000 miles. Compare that to a modern turbo 4-cylinder that needs a $4,000 turbo replacement at 150,000 miles. One GM technician summed it up. The 5.3 from that era isn't perfect, but it's perfectly adequate. And in the truck world, adequate for 500,000 miles beats sophisticated for 150,000 miles every time. Taking the number 2 spot is Toyota's 5.7-liter 3 URFE-V8, the spiritual successor to the 4.7-liter and somehow even more overbuilt. This engine powers modern Tundras and Sequoias with a combination of old-school durability and new-school power that's unmatched in the half-ton segment. The 3URFE uses forged connecting rods, a component most manufacturers reserve for high-performance engines. The aluminum block features iron cylinder liners for durability. The variable valve timing system, often a failure point on other engines, was designed with such loose tolerances that it practically never fails. The proof? A 2016 Tundra recently joined the million-mile club with nothing but routine maintenance. The owner, a contractor from Louisiana, bought it new and used it daily for heavy towing. His only non-maintenance repair? A starter at 650,000 miles. The engine still makes factory-rated power and burns no oil. But here's what really sets this engine apart. Toyota backs it with confidence. They've offered to buy back any Tundra that reaches 1,000,000 miles for study, yet most owners refuse to sell. When a manufacturer is literally trying to buy back million-mile trucks to understand their own success, you know you're looking at engineering excellence. The only real complaint? Fuel economy sits around 13 to 15 miles per gallon, making it thirstier than the competition. But let's do the math. At $4 per gallon, the extra fuel cost over 200,000 miles is about $8,000. A replacement engine? $10,000 minimum. The equation favors durability. At number 1, the engine that might surprise you, the Cummins 5.9-liter 12-valve diesel from 1989 to 1998 Dodge Rams. Yes, it's agricultural. Yes, it's completely mechanical. And yes, it might be the most indestructible engine ever put in a pickup truck. This isn't hyperbole. The 5.9-liter 12-valve Cummins was originally designed for industrial applications, generators, boats, equipment that runs 24/7 for decades. Dodge basically took an industrial engine and stuffed it in a pickup. The result? Million-mile stories that aren't exceptional. They're normal. The 12-valve uses a Bosch P7100 mechanical injection pump. No computers, no sensors, just mechanical precision that works forever. The cast iron block and head are so overbuilt that racing teams use stock blocks for 1,000 horsepower applications. In stock form, making just 160 to 215 horsepower, the engine is essentially unstressed. One documented case, a 1996 Ram 2500 with 1.6 million miles on the original engine, still running strong with 15% variance in compression across all cylinders. The owner's maintenance, oil changes, fuel filters, and valve adjustments every 150,000 miles. Total engine maintenance cost over 1.6 million miles, under $3,000. But here's the real kicker. These engines appreciate in value. A clean 1997 Ram with the 12-valve Cummins sells for more today than it cost new. No other truck engine can claim that. While modern trucks depreciate into scrap value, 12-valve Cummins trucks become investments. The downsides? They're loud enough to wake neighborhoods. They're slow by modern standards. The trucks around them fall apart while the engine keeps going. But when you're looking for forever reliability, the 12-valve Cummins isn't just the best truck engine. It might be the best automotive engine ever made. So that wraps up our list of 7 pickup truck engines that last forever. The bottom line, while everyone's chasing the latest technology and maximum power, these proven engines quietly deliver something more valuable, the to buy once and drive for decades. The smart move: find one of these engines in good condition and maintain it religiously. The costly mistake? Buying the latest turbo direct-injected marvel and watching it grenade at 150,000 miles. Which bulletproof engine powers your truck? Share your high-mileage stories in the comments below. Hit that like button if this made you appreciate your engine even more. And subscribe for more deep dives into the automotive legends that built America. These engines powered our nation. Let's celebrate them together.